now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the Oliva Cigar Family, and the J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Tonight, we got a great guy coming on board, a friend of ours, lots of fun. We met him a few years back over at a BCA, personally meeting him at BCA, right, out in Indiana. And great guy, man. A lot of fun to hang out with, and we're going to learn a lot from him this evening. But welcome, everybody. We're a little short, as you can see. It's
a little
just,
short.
A little short.
We're only coming in about 5'8" tonight.
Oh, no. What's Kyle's size? Isn't Kyle 5'4"?
Have your shoes on.
No, Kyle's 5'4", so we came in short.
Well, folks, we're down a man, as they say.
Wow.
We're down a man. We're down a man. So we'll have to lift each other up.
Yes.
To get better.
But we do miss out Kyle, but we'll make do. We'll make do. He'll be back next week, and he'll have some fun with us again too. But hey, welcome all you new timers on board. Thank you so much for joining us. We got some new timers on here.
The old timers versus the old.
Well, we're the old timers, and
are the new timers just called, like, I don't know if I would call them new timers.
What would you call them?
Newbies.
Okay, that's right. They're new timers.
I don't know what that sounds like.
It doesn't
sound like part of the English language. A new timer.
All right. All you newbies out there. We got a lot of oldies out there too. What can I tell you? But anyway, welcome everybody. Please hit the share button, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I'm Ronnie Pecorini. Down below there, the twosome, my brother, retired Bob.
Welcome back, folks. Good to see you, man.
And the one, the only, the church master himself, Cousin Frank.
Hello.
Oh, he went back to that.
Every
week I wonder what is he going and how's he going to do it this time. And I lit there, and then I hear that.
I thought you took your medicine tonight. Did you got rid of the shakes?
I had a little bit of you know what it was? Bob, give me that bottle that we're drinking. So tonight we decided that we're going to polish off this bottle right here.
And so we are.
So this right here was picked up at Costco. If anyone has not tried this, I highly suggest getting it. It is a Willet family estate bottled small batch rye.
Actually, don't get it. Leave it for us.
Well, you can only get it. Well, they opened up a new Costco here, so they're bringing on some great liquor, and they limited it 2 per person. So myself and my wife bought 2, so we were able to get 4.
Oh, great. So you raked in the wife there. Lucy did a little dirty work for you, huh?
Well, sometimes you have to kind of skirt the rules.
Yes,
so
I like that.
In order to get the things that you want. But no, great bottle. Highly suggested for folks out there. And since tonight's show is about humidity, Ron.
Yes, it is.
And we have enough of it tonight.
We have humidity. It's Florida, so we do get a lot of it.
It was raining before, and there's a lot of humidity here tonight.
We get a lot of humidity. But one of the most important things to think about is using something to check the humidity in your cigar. So from our buddies over at Cigar Medics, listen, if you don't have this tool, I don't know where you've been, what planet you've been on.
You're not a cigar smoker.
You're not a cigar smoker.
No.
But again, this is the original humidimeter. Okay. That's by the Cigar Medics. That's the OG. It has the 2 prongs right there. And then they've got the newbie here, which is the Humidimeter Pro,
the clip-on
series, the clip-on version. So this
version.
you can clip on, put it on a suit, on a nice shirt, whatever you want.
But Frank, you've had the same battery in this one for 15 years
I've
now,
had the same battery for I don't know how long. It's been 3 years
since they came out with it.
I don't know how Luigi.
No, it's
does
more
it.
than 3 years.
It might be 4 years.
5. I think it's 5 years.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But one thing I can tell you is get this.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to check and know if your cigar is at the proper humidity. So we're talking humidity, and it's nice to check.
Yeah,
and make
nobody
sure
wants to smoke a cigar that's off.
No,
Plain and simple.
no, you want to have
whether
your
it's dry or too humid. That's
right.
another problem.
Either way,
either
way, Bob.
Well, and just talk about kudos to that. We have a cigar brand owner here. We got Ken Dorbacker of the Chief Cigar.
Yes.
And he actually says, if you guys read this, he said it's a must to have. So you're actually listening to a cigar brand owner, the Chief, telling you himself that it's a must-have to make sure that you have your quality smoke and that you enjoy it. I mean, that says a lot when you get something like that going, you know?
Absolutely.
Right.
I feel if you don't have that, you're really not a true smoker.
You know, it's.
You know,
I think you're more
you must
of
be
a
like a
no. No, you know what I
part-time
think you are? I think you're a gambler.
A gambler.
Yes,
Okay.
you're like a
Okay,
gambler.
I can see that.
So you're kind of rolling the dice.
Rolling the dice,
Why?
whether it's going to be a good smoke or not, huh?
You know, why roll the dice
I don't
when you
get
can
that.
have a pretty
No.
accurate measurement as to
Exactly.
what your cigar
Yeah, I want to know.
humidity.
I want
Yes,
to know.
this way. Well, you know, it makes it a fair playing ground for all of the cigar manufacturers out there to know that when somebody's smoking their cigar, they're smoking it at the right
At
humidity.
premium.
Yeah, at that level that they know that they're not going to have a bad experience, because then it's a bad reflection on the cigar manufacturer, because it's like, oh, I don't know, I smoked that thing, it was drier than shit, or it was so wet I couldn't puff
on
it. You know, and then you're
and
like,
then you're never going to
blaming-
buy that cigar again. Just for that.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you had a bad
Exactly.
experience.
Exactly. So tonight it's all about humidity, folks.
Yep.
And it's going to be a really great show.
Yep. I mean,
It
Chris
really is.
Cutler says that he's had his Cigar Medic for 3 years right now. And again, it lasts so long.
It lasts forever.
You know, no matter how many times, it just seems like it never goes out. It's amazing.
I think
And-
I've had mine for 5 years. I
No,
believe.
Bob loses track of time.
it has to be at least 5.
No, it's not 5 years.
I was
Ronnie.
still in
No,
Illinois
it's
when I had
3 years
mine.
plus. It might be 3.5
Ronnie,
years.
when was the first time we got
It's 3.5 years. We
It's
got the
3.5.
first one when
Okay.
we went to BCA, and we
Right.
saw Tom in the parking lot.
Right, exactly. Tom was our humidimeter dealer. He was.
No. I have to say no to this one
Oh,
because
Okay, maybe.
No,
Or did
we
he give
had
us that in the second
we
round?
had it before that because he gave me a replacement because mine didn't work accurately.
And he
There
might
was,
have
there was some sort of a problem with it. It didn't work accurately, and he gave me another one in the parking lot. So we had it before. So it's probably 4 years.
Maybe.
Okay,
All right, 4
far off.
years.
5.
Well, even that Ken Dorbeck said that's when he got his also at the BCA. So, all right, well, whatever. Even if it's 4
Whatever.
years,
Fantastic.
and you smoke, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 cigars a day, Bob, and
At
you
least.
use it all the time.
Yeah.
Guys, it is a must-have tool to make sure that you really going to have the proper smoke and you're going to enjoy it.
You have the right
And
experience.
Luigi has done a fantastic job.
The right tool. The
Yeah.
right tool for the job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bob,
All right,
you don't
we're getting
use
a lot of people on
you don't
board.
use
I'm
it
going to
for
ask
fun.
everybody, please
Fun,
hit your share button, everybody.
No.
Oh, we got
And you
John
don't use-
Avalone. Ciao, ciao.
We
Paisano.
got, we got John. We've got a bunch of
We got an
paisans.
Italian paisans tonight. We're starting something here, you know.
Oh, starting
Oh.
something. Then we got Ken Dorbecker. So we put him in the paisan category, though.
Yeah, he's
Depends
an honorary Italian.
Paisan.
That's
Exactly.
You know, that's all. It maybe is on his mother's side. He's got some Italian blood on him. I don't know.
Man.
We'll go with that.
I heard he ordered a pie though.
He did.
That- whatever cheese.
A meatball pie. There you go. We got a lot. Some of us have to live
All right.
dangerously. Joe Galino. Joe,
Oh,
yes, you
God.
live every day dangerously, arresting all those hell's grannies every day.
Oh,
On that swag.
yeah, the old grandmother's wearing the colors.
Oof. In the mall.
In the mall.
In the mall.
Yeah.
In the mall. But I think tonight, what are we going to smoke tonight, Bob?
I
I'm going
think
to
we're
smoke.
going to have a Newman.
We're going to have a JC
Newman.
Newman. We're going to go for the Julius. We're going
for the
Regal.
Caesar.
We're
Hail
going
Caesar.
Hail Caesar, the Julius Caesar Diamond Crown.
Yep.
So let me tell you, folks, another fantastic cigar by the folks over at JC Newman. This is an honorary cigar that was made for the, I believe it was the anniversary of the founding of the company by
Julius.
I believe so.
Newman.
I believe so.
That's such a cool name. I mean, I
Caesar?
wish no, Julius.
Or Julius.
Julius Caesar. I mean, that's a cool name. I would have liked that. Instead, they named me Franco. And then I got beat up as a kid for that. I did.
You got beat up for Franco?
Yeah.
Why?
People in the audience probably know.
Frank, why didn't you call us? We would have taken care of those punks.
You know, when
We're a little bit older.
back in the day, there was this spaghetti company out there called Chef Boyardee. Okay.
That wasn't a spaghetti company. Come
Well,
on.
no, it was they called themselves a spaghetti company, and they had
That's like Olive Garden.
they had the
Some people think that's Italian.
they had the Franco-American.
Oh,
Remember
yes.
the jingle Franco-American.
Yeah.
SpaghettiOs. So they would tease me with that. So then I said, you know what? Fuck all of these people. Just call me Frank. And that's what I've been going by since then because I didn't like to get teased in the school ground.
So when did you start with Nancy?
So now I gave a bit of history for people. Not going to make fun of me. I know Joey Galino's going to make fun of me on that.
Of course,
Of course, I gave him room. But
Wow.
you know, now people know a little bit of history about the old Franco-American part, and it's not easy. You know, it was
Not easy
tough.
being you.
No, it was
No,
never
no,
easy
no, no.
being me.
It still ain't.
Frank, just go up about 4 more to somebody says, shit, Franco, I'm named what?
He's named Michelob. Wait a minute. You're named Michelob.
That's
He
because he
beats
drinks
your
that beer.
Franco anytime. I like the name.
I would be honored to be called Michelob. At least that's cool. That's like, oh, you're named after a beer.
Huh?
You know, it's like Michelob. But you don't want to be called Michelob Light at that
After
point.
a cheap
You don't want
pasta.
to be Michelob
Pasta
Light.
in a can.
He's a lightweight.
Uh-oh, he says you're not funny. Hey, I like his name. Hey, you're good, man. You're staying on.
Michelob is
I
cool.
want to see this guy more. I think he's cool.
I like that. I
I
like
think he's
Michelob.
cool.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
That's a good
It is
name.
pretty awesome. You're right.
would
It
treat
is pretty awesome. Better
I
than
think
Franco.
so.
I'm sorry. Franco
I
for
know.
us is, that is a unique name. Totally.
And
Well,
then-
actually,
You know,
for us, it was Franchino.
yeah, they
Franchino.
Oh,
because I'm
yeah. Oh,
humongous.
don't tell Joey
I
G.
was
Now everybody
humongous.
knows.
The baby.
Be the baby. I
The
was
baby,
young. But I'm
Franchino.
next to. I'm next to the old man himself. This guy's the oldest that there is
Yeah.
in the family.
You know, I made dirt.
He did. He created dirt. He did. He did.
Frankie Spaghetti. Oh, Joey G.
Well, Joey, he's got Carol with an E, Peroni, after Peroni beer. And I
Oh.
told him, make sure she's part of the Peroni empire. Joey.
Otherwise, dumper.
Otherwise, you got to
No, she got to dump him.
You got to, yeah. Well, if she's
You
part of
dumper,
the,
you dumper fast.
but if she's part of the empire, I don't know what she's doing with Joey G.
Well, we got to figure that
It's
out. We
in-
might have to have a
figure that
long talk with her.
We're gonna have to have
But
a
anyway,
long conversation.
we've talked long enough. We got a lot of
Yeah.
people on board here, a lot of nice Italians joining us, which is great. Beautiful thing. Anyway, everybody, hit the share button. We're going to go to our first sponsor break. And we come back. We got a fantastic, wonderful guest that we can't wait to introduce. Have a good one. Hold on. Frank, take it away.
Another day in paradise, snagging cigars.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: the Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind, and the newly released Perfect Round, featuring 18 cigars, a front 9 and a back 9. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes. We grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago, 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Eric Peter Stokeby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
Hey everyone, Rob from Boveda here, and today we're talking about what is Boveda. Boveda is a humidity pack that is easily added to any cigar storage container. Boveda precisely controls, restores, and maintains humidity to keep your cigars fresh and tasting the way the cigar manufacturer intended them. How does Boveda do that? Boveda does this through our patented formulas that use all natural salts and water to ensure your cigars are stored at the correct relative humidity. Boveda maintains the freshness of your cigars while doing it faster and more precise than any other product out there. If you're wondering why we use natural salts, we just point you in the direction of history. Salt has been used for over thousands of years to regulate moisture levels and preserve and increase the shelf life of many different products. It's just time tested. Boveda is simple to use. Just remove the Boveda from the cellophane, place it in your humidor. It is that easy. No activation is needed, and cutting open the Boveda pack will only result in a mess and damage your cigars. If you want to know how many Boveda packs to use, be sure to check out this video. Boveda is the simplest and easiest way to keep your cigars fresh. Thank you for watching, and for more video content, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the Boveda channel. There you're going to find more how-to videos as well as interviews with top cigar makers on box press. As always, you can find all your Boveda products at bovedainc.com. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.
And look at that. What an introduction, Frank. That was so great. And look what we lead into. Our special guest tonight, Mr. Nathan Beck of Boveda. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Nate.
Hey, don't let you go all white.
That's 5 daughters, gentlemen.
That's right. Wow.
Nice.
That's what does that right there.
Yep.
There you go. I hear you.
How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. This is fantastic. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Yes.
Not all year since I talked to you, just all day.
No.
Oh.
No, only all day.
All right. Let's go with that.
At least he's honest. At least he's honest. You know.
Well, what are you going to do?
I get the pleasure of seeing you, Ronnie, at least a couple times a year. I get to see you in December at Arlington Pipe and Cigar. I get to see you at maybe a couple of the other shows. I love it because I always look forward to seeing somebody that's a good hugger. So it's always a bonus.
Thank
yes.
You, and I like giving you hugs too.
Right back at you.
But thank you.
Wow,
thank you for
your nose is growing.
Your nose, he's got 2 Pinocchios for that one. That's a double Pinocchio.
let's do a nose job. Anyway, folks,
Nate,
hit the share button, everybody. Please, let's get Nate out there to everybody on your social media. And also, just let you guys know, if you have friends and family who are not on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Rumble, we're now on X. So take a look
on
at
X. But we have
but we never pushed it.
There.
So we're pushing it right now.
Because, it's hard to push everything. We're not drug dealers, and we don't know the streets that way.
X one of those day drugs?
No, that's
not C, but it's X.
They just call it X, right?
Yeah.
And for whoever's asking what we're smoking cigars, we're smoking J.C. Newman, Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
We're smoking tonight, folks. So if you have a J.C. Newman around, grab them. Go smoke them right now and enjoy it with us. All right.
So, Nate, I have the first question is...
Yes.
Wow. Throw it out right away.
I got to throw it right at him.
He wants it, Come on. It's what he expects.
Well, in the green room before the show, he talked about what he studied. I love to get into what people did in their previous life, because we're at an age where we're seasoned. But, you talked about you were in entertainment. So how did you go from entertainment to Boveda? How did that happen?
It's been a little bit of a circuitous journey. I graduated college with a degree in singing and musical theater. And so I'm actually a professional musician by trade. When I was first married, I was performing in a couple of professional shows up here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And I love the work, but I just didn't enjoy the community, and I didn't want to do that for my career. And so did a lot of other jobs. I worked retail. I've got a long history in fine shoes and running shoe shops, and have done that. I also, for 10 years before I became Boveda Nate, I owned and operated a hot dog cart called Nate Dogs. And in 2017, my hot dog cart was voted the best hot dog cart in all of North America. So had a lot of success. Yeah, had a lot of success with that.
Nathan's, is it?
No. And I thought for sure when I trademarked the name Nate Dogs that I for sure was going to get a cease and desist from Nathan's famous.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
And never happened. Never happened.
Well, you're not in Brooklyn.
Yeah, if you were in Brooklyn, I had a problem with it.
Yeah, right.
We're somewhere lost up in Minnesota. We never looked at Minnesota that way.
Yeah.
That's Canada.
Cigars were always a part of my enjoyment after I'd get done with, big beer fests and food truck festivals and what have you. And I was fortunate enough to meet Rob, who all of you saw in that wonderful informational lead into this segment from Boveda. And he and I became good friends. And I had decided I was ready to be done with the hot dog cart. I had kind of made a decision when I started that business that when I couldn't be innovative or creative anymore, and I kind of hit the end of all the new things I could try, that I was going to be ready to be done. And I went back into running a retail shop. I was running an Allen Edmonds shoe store. They're a Wisconsin-based handmade shoe company. Mm-hmm. And Rob reached out and said, "Hey, we've got this opening at Boveda. Do you know anybody that might be interested?" And I was like, this guy right here would be interested. And so the cool part about all of those things that I've done is all those different jobs, when you're in front of people, when you're on camera like this, that's all coming from a performing background. And the more comfortable you are in front of a camera, in front of people, it just makes it that much more engaging when they come and spend time with you, because you learn, if I can figure out a way to make this experience relatable to the individual that I'm talking to, now they're locked in well beyond the product or the service that I sell. They're going to come back because I made them feel noticed. I made them feel part of the experience. And that's what I aim to do in any job that I'm doing, is really connect with people. I'm a big believer in remembering people's first names. You make that experience about something other than what it is they're enjoying. That's what keeps them coming back, because we all know there are lots and lots of really great cigars out there. There are lots of great, lots of great whiskeys out there. But what keeps people coming back is that relationship they have with you.
Yes. Absolutely. I agree.
Well, you are definitely, you can see that you're a natural. You talk great. You got confidence. You have a face for radio like the rest of us, but you're definitely You fit right in. You're just coming off fine, man. So I can definitely see all that experience is coming off. And
you know, Sam, I used to make it a point to remember people's first names.
Sam, yes.
Yeah, Joey, can't say that to him. Okay, forget about it.
So
but you're right.
When you started at Boveda, what was the learning curve for you? Obviously, you're going from shoes and selling literally dogs to selling a product that is kind of steeped in what I will call, it kind of happened right, because tell us a little bit about the inception of the product, how that started, and then, you know, where it is today, because it's kind of made leaps and bounds for not only the cigar industry, but I mean, geez, it's being used in marijuana and used for keeping great artwork, preserving it. I mean, it's amazing what Boveda has created as far as the company.
I bet you he had a bad cigar, and he said, "I'm going to find a cure for this."
I came into this actually with a fair amount of knowledge of Boveda. I've been a cigar smoker since I was 18, and I just turned 50 in January. So I've been a long time cigar smoker, and I have used Boveda since it was the previous company name. I've been a Boveda customer for almost 20 years. And I've been fortunate that my local shops here, I've been big believers in Boveda. I mean, it's, you know, an easy marriage considering they're right here where Boveda was founded in Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Right.
Boveda really started out, give you just a brief history. The original name of the company was called SAGE, and that was an acronym for Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. Oh, wow. And they realized early on that that name wasn't going to really going to lock in with, you know, the majority of smokers. So the next name that our company was called Humidipack.
Packs, right? And Humidipack. I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
That was, you know, white and a blue water droplet. In fact, if you open up that Fuente envelope in any box of Fuente cigars, at this moment up still, it'll say Humidipack on those packs, and that's a Boveda product. We still make that for Fuente. But the original product was something similar to what we all call our 1-year humidor bags. And at one of the very first cigar shows, I don't even remember what the name of the show was at that point. You know, it wasn't even IPCPR. Sean and Tim, two of our founders, literally rented an RV and parked in the parking lot and just kept moving it around as they got kicked out because they weren't actual vendors at the show, trying to get people to come into this RV and buy this humidor bag that would keep their cigars fresh. And what really launched Boveda and like really set us on the map, Tim Swale and Sean Knutson, our senior vice president of sales and our CEO, they developed a connection with Carlito Fuente, and Carlito was willing to take a chance on this little 2-way humidification pack in every one of his boxes. And when he agreed to put Boveda in every one of his boxes, that really sent us through the roof and really cemented Boveda as the industry standard in 2-way humidification, because he was willing to trust his exceptional handcrafted cigars to Boveda and knew that they would be able to keep his cigars in pristine condition from the factory to the cigar retailer or to the end consumer. And it's just been uphill from there.
Wow.
Well, we got a cigar brand owner here, Ken Dorbacker of The Chief, and he states that it's used in all our boxes and bundles. So he's right there with Carlito. He's a smart guy. He knows how to make sure he's got a good quality product when the customer opens up that box. Good job for you, Ken. That's nice.
We appreciate it, man.
Well, it's a foolproof product, plain and simple.
Exactly.
I mean, it's guaranteed to work.
It is.
How can you not work? How can you not?
I mean,
use
the great thing is that with the 2-way humidification is if there's too much humidity, it's going to draw some of that humidity out. And if there's too little, it's going to put that back in. So that's the beauty of the product.
It monitors itself.
Right. It's
That's
self-governing.
it does, yeah.
Unlike society, it's self-governing.
Right?
That's pretty true. Yeah.
And the beauty of that is if you're in a high humidity environment like South Florida,
right,
that pack is doing more to pull moisture out of your cigars and to keep them at that precise humidity than it is putting moisture back in.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
And a really unique thing about a Boveda pack, let me pull one out here and just show you. when you have one of these packs in its cellophane, once you take it out, you've got anywhere in a wood humidor from 2 months to 4 months, depending on the quality and the seal on that humidor. When these dry out, you want to just take them out, throw them away, and replace them with new ones. You don't want to rehydrate those packs.
Right.
But when they get ballooned up with excess humidity, the interesting thing about these packs is if you have a way to actually dehydrate them, get back down to this size pack is 60 grams of solution in this pack. You can actually go down to that 60 grams and let it absorb again and down again. And that can keep happening basically ad nauseum.
Wow.
So that's kind of a cool thing in those high humid environments. But when these packs do dry out, the reason why we always highly recommend that you don't try and rehydrate these, even though it feels like you're gaming the system, what happens is as this pack gives off moisture, and just so people know, the only thing that can escape from the membrane of this pack, which is really faster than any other two-way membrane that you can get on the market, is this thing is going to work super efficiently. But when it gives off that pure reverse osmosis water vapor, none of that salt inside this pack can actually escape out of that vapor barrier. In fact, if you took salt water that you scooped up from the from the beach and put it on your countertop and just let that sit, the only thing that's going to evaporate is that water away, and then it's just going to be left with that salt if you leave it for long enough. In order for that salt to actually evaporate, you've got to heat it to an extremely high temperature to get that to vaporize and go through that membrane. But when that water vapor leaves this pack, those salt crystals are going to start to clump together, and you're going to start to feel
they start to shrink. Right. It becomes it thins out. It becomes very, I'll call it brittle.
Yep. And it's going to happen for the most part around the edges first. And then I generally recommend that you replace these packs when they feel a little more like pudding in the middle and not like this liquidy water. But when those salt crystals have dried out and clumped together, when you rehydrate this, and bear in mind, this pack will reabsorb moisture because that's what salt does. It draws moisture to it. What happens is if that salt is not dissolved in that solution inside this pack, now this pack at 69% is not putting off 69%.
Oh, it's going to be at a different number. It's not going to be
well north of 90% humidity.
It's going to be much higher.
Yes, and you drop that into your humidor. Now your cigars, you might as well have distilled water in that humidor. Now your cigars have a real high chance of running into mold issues. You're going to have combustion issues. And then the other thing that happens is once you start rehydrating these packs, now you have to do it probably once a month because those packs think that they need to give off 90% humidity. So they're just going to push all that.
So it's kind of like it's almost got a memory at that
point. Exactly. And so just don't bother rehydrating. They're $4 or $5, anywhere from $4 to $5 at your local cigar shop. Go support your local retailer.
Right.
If you're not close to a retailer, buy them from BovedaInc.com or through our Boveda store on Amazon. Save those precious dollars that you have invested in your cigars and just buy more packs.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
I buy them by the box.
Well, that's the best way to get them.
But I've heard people say, "Oh, you put it in microwave, you can rehydrate."
A microwave?
Yeah.
Really?
Dry them up, and then you can put them back in. It's like all these weird theories. But like you said, you're never going to get that accuracy anymore.
Well, that's
exactly right.
You already played with it so many times that it's going to be off.
Exactly.
Who the hell knows what your cigars are going to be like?
Yeah, you don't want to gamble.
No. And the whole point, you guys mentioned this earlier, and you even mentioned it in your live earlier today on Instagram. We all used to struggle with very inaccurate methods of humidifying our cigars in whatever case we had them in. And when Boveda came on the market, now we're precise. Now you have it dialed in. It's plus or minus 1% to what the humidity is marked on this pack. Why would you go back to having to monkey with all of that by rehydrating those packs just to game, $4? You have hundreds of dollars worth of cigars in that case.
And Chris Cutler actually said it right just a little while ago, Frank. They said they are cheap insurance for your cigars. And Ken says, not worth being cheap with investment of your cigars. Both make so much sense for a few bucks compared to what you spend on your cigars. What are you trying to do, man? I mean, come on. That's being silly. I'm sorry
Yep.
to say, it's being
It
silly.
is.
And
You're right,
and
Ron.
not a
It's
smart move
foolish.
at all.
It's foolish.
You're spending
really.
$250 just to throw a number out for a box of cigars.
I mean, if you
$4
want to go
more is not going to be worth
Right.
it.
So like if you want to go cheap, like if you really want to game the system, like if you don't want to sit on expensive wood humidors, because you frankly have to spend a decent amount of money to get a wood humidor that's going to really hold humidity.
Yeah, because
accurate.
otherwise, I've never had a wood humidor that actually worked long term. I've had to struggle with them so often, priming it, doing this, seasoning, and doing all of this stuff. And that was before Boveda had a humidification, like humidor setup where you can actually season your humidor simply, as opposed to, wiping on distilled water and waiting and doing. And even then you're not really seasoning the humidor properly because the cells aren't absorbing the distilled water properly, as opposed
and the
to
cheap gauge that you used to put in those were never accurate to start with. You know,
Oh, they're anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8% off, and
at least.
We each of us have one of these, humidor bags.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This medium bag is $7.99 at your local retailer. The large bag is $14 and holds probably up to 75 cigars.
Yeah, I've got
game the system and go buy one of our Boveda bags. And now you've got a Boveda pack inside that bag. And once you break that heat seal, that bag is good for a full year, if not longer in many cases.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's fantastic.
Wow.
That really is. That's awesome. I mean, especially when you're traveling and things like that. Like you said earlier, you can it lays flat. Your cigars, you could put up to a dozen cigars in this medium bag, and you could put it in between your shorts, maybe your underwear.
Especially when you're attending a cigar event.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to go home.
And you got to go home. And it keeps them nice and safe. I love these packs. They're fantastic.
they're
Absolutely. Great. And I think a lot of us at one point or another, if we've been smoking cigars for a while, have at one point owned some type of cigar caddy or Pelican case.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Those are awesome, but they're not inexpensive. I mean, like my 8 cigar case, that was, I don't know, $45, and it works great. But now I got to carry around this brick that holds only 8 cigars, or I can carry this bag, which holds 12 cigars, and it's a lot easier to carry, and I can just put it under my arm, or just, now I have cigars to share.
Yeah. Right.
A lot more manageable.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Makes so much sense, Nate. Really does. It totally does. And again, you have so many there, and you actually talk about the humidor starter kit.
Oh yeah,
you bet.
There it is.
So if you happen to have a wood humidor, because some smokers just still like that nostalgic feel of a cedar-lined wood humidor. Some of the really nice humidors are actually fully lined with 3/8 inch thick cedar, but the issue with those is you're going to spend upwards of probably $500 to $700 at a minimum, and then it goes up from there.
Right.
But if you have a wood humidor and you really want to try to give it a go, stop by your local cigar shop or head over to bovedainc.com and pick up one of these humidor starter kits. Right. We make them in configurations for up to 50 count humidors or up to 100 count humidors. And literally, it couldn't be easier. On the back of this pack, you have 2 steps. And what comes in each of these pouches is half 72% packs. That's going to be your maintenance packs. Once the humidor's been seasoned, that's step 2. And then we have 84% packs, and that's your step 1. That's your seasoning. Right. And you were talking about trying to get that distilled water or that water vapor into those cells of that wood material. And most humidors that people have are made of MDF. MDF has a lot of open cells in that material.
Yes.
And the problem with wiping down your humidor or putting a jar or a glass or a bowl of distilled water or a sponge is, what if your kids or your cat bump it and now you've got water spilled in there that you didn't know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you spend all this money and the cedar is delaminating, or it's cracking, or it's maybe getting moldy because you didn't check it enough. Our 84% packs are designed to go into that wood humidor, and this size pack right here, I call it the Pop-Tart size pack. One of those packs is going to be used for every 25 cigars that the humidor can hold. Not that you have in there, but that it can hold. And those are going to go in that empty humidor with no cigars.
Right.
And what those packs are going to do for 2 weeks, and the reason why we recommend 2 weeks is that we found in all of our extensive testing in our own in-house research lab is that after 2 weeks, you're pretty fully saturated. You're not going to get really any more moisture in the wood walls of that humidor. However, under 2 weeks, more often than not, there's still a little more moisture that can go into those wood walls. And the point of doing that with your wood humidor is that if you don't properly hydrate all of those open cells in that wood material, now that wood is going to aggressively try to pull moisture out of your precious cigars. And those cigars are going to give off that moisture very rapidly because that leaf is really delicate. It's going to give up that moisture much more quickly than anything else that it's stored with. So if those wood walls are properly humidified, now when you go to that step 2 and you drop in those 72% packs, which is our recommended humidity for most average wood humidors, because you're going to have, possibly some leaking out through the, the glass top lid, or Bob, you mentioned those, really low quality hygrometers that are often wedged in the front.
Yep.
Those humidors are just leaking moisture and air pretty rapidly. By using that 72% in most humidors, and you can always adjust after that initial 2 to 4 month period when you've had those packs in there, either go up or down. Now you've got the humidity packs literally just maintaining your cigars, and they're not having to give up moisture to make sure that that wood is hydrated.
Right.
So, and the cool thing with these humidor starter kits is in the 50 count variety, you're going to get, of those 4 packs, you're going to get 1 for free. And in the 100 count variety, of those 8 packs, because it's just double the quantity, you're going to get 2 of those packs for free. So you're not going to get your Boveda any cheaper than if you do one of those humidor starter kits. And they also work great if you have an existing wood humidor. It doesn't have to be a new one, but if you just want to tune up that humidor and get it running much, much better, buy yourself one of those humidor starter kits.
Oh, so you can use it on a pre-existing humidor that's already gone through what I'll call a improper seasoning.
Exactly.
So that it'll actually sit there. Now, do you recommend at that point pulling the cigars out and putting them in a separate location until that humidor kind of settles in?
So what you always want to make sure to do, and this is listed out in that step 1 on the back of one of these pouches, is you always want to do that step 1 with our 84% packs in an empty humidor.
Gotcha.
So you're going to want to take all the cigars you have in there, put them in a gallon size, freezer bag, the most, air impervious that you have.
Right.
You could also put them inside a Boveda bag if you have one of those. If you've ever been to a cigar event or one of the trade shows and you get one of our Boveda event bags where we hand them out like, Halloween candy,
right,
drop them in there. And you could store them. We generally recommend when you're in a Ziploc bag that you store your cigars with a 69% pack. Mm-hmm. But you can use whatever you already had in that humidor. Just drop them in that bag. Just make sure that all the packs or the pack that you put in there are all going to be the same relative humidity. You don't want to mix those numbers because those packs start to compete with each other. Just hold them in that bag for those 2 weeks. And then when those 2 weeks are over, you open up that bag and those 72% packs that are already supplied in that pouch, drop your cigars in. You can use the packs as dividers. You can set your cigars on top of them. You can put the packs on top. It doesn't matter where you put them. Those packs are perfectly safe to touch any of your cigars. And
so
then
they
just
can
close
sit
the
on
lid.
top of a naked cigar and not cause any issue. It's not going to ruin a naked cigar in any way.
Absolutely. If you consider all of the manufacturers that include a Boveda pack inside their cigar boxes, a lot of them are cellophane, a lot of them are not. Those packs are designed to go right up against your cigars with no adverse effects. And like I always tell customers, there's, a lot of misinformation. Some competitors will say that those salts are going to harm your cigars or add off flavors. There's nothing that's going to affect those cigars. Nothing. The only thing coming in and out of that pack is that reverse osmosis purified water. So it is the highest level of purification you can do with water. And we do that so that that water that comes out has no ability to increase mold production, bacteria, any of that. It's just pure water. And so your cigars can sit right on top of those packs. And then I recommend when you put those 72% packs or whatever packs you like to use or whatever humidity you like to use with your cigars, I write the date on it in Sharpie in the corner. And then every couple of months or every month, depending on what kind of storage unit I have, I go in and I check. That gives me a good idea from the date I bought it and put it in, how long those packs are going to work in whatever type of container I have them in.
So there's a couple of questions. Electric humidors. How is that situation work? You have a few people here. Frank has one. I have one. So
yeah, you mentioned you've got a 3,000 cigar cabinet humidor.
Yes.
Boveda is not really designed for that large of a humidor.
Okay.
It can work, but the amount of Boveda packs that you would need to use to properly humidify that size container is just going to be so egregiously expensive. It's just not meant for that. So electronic units can work fantastic. And where Boveda can come in as a supporting player again is if you find that maybe you have a couple of shelves where the humidity starts to maybe fluctuate.
It varies,
okay.
right.
Yep. You can take, especially in those big containers, you can take these 320 gram packs and you can add them on those shelves and just put your cigars right on top. And these packs will help to moderate that humidity level in those areas that might not get enough airflow or get enough humidity, like maybe at the very top, or maybe you get too much humidity right at the bottom.
Where
that humidity comes through. Yep. This pack can actually help absorb some of that humidity so those cigars don't get over humidified right on the very bottom.
So I have a Tupperware. It's a pretty big one also. And I will lay a couple of rows. I throw a pack in, a couple of rows. I throw a pack in, and a couple of rows, and I close it on the Tupperware. Is that it's worked for me? Is that something that you have seen and dealt with?
I think it's the best way to store your cigars in a cooler or a Rubbermaid or a Tupperware.
Right.
Same with any of your like cigar refrigerators.
Mm-hmm.
We found one of the brands of refrigerator, Tupperwares, they're all the same type of airtight storage.
Yes.
We found that the new air unit that just came out with Boveda's co-branding on it, it's designed to work
I saw that.
with Boveda. We found that in that humidor, one 320 gram pack, which is this size pack here, and then there are slots on each of the 3 shelves for one of these. You put in 3 of these in each of the shelves and one of those 320s, and you're looking at like 6 months of lifespan in that airtight container. We're all familiar with Boveda Cigar Club is one of, I think, probably the biggest cigar subscription services in the U.S.
And they're in those Eskimo coolers, I'll call it.
Exactly, they are. And they, in talking to Brian DeSind at last year's cigar show, each one of those, I call them the body parts coolers, the ones you buy at Costco.
Right.
Yep.
They fit anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 cigars in each of those coolers. They put in 2 of these Boveda 320 gram packs. They shut the lid, walk away.
Wow.
Only 2.
2. Wow. Now, the way that works for them is those coolers are full.
Right. Okay. That makes the difference.
That's the key. And this is really where a lot of people get burned in a wood humidor. Every storage unit for cigars works the most efficiently when you're using Boveda if they're as full as possible, because all of those cigars are already at pretty close to the right relative humidity level.
Right.
They're somewhere between 63 and 69% humidity. They're already going to bring the humidity of that unit or that storage container up to a certain level. And then Boveda is just going to equalize that and normalize it. And because it's airtight, it just locks it right in.
Because there's not a big air gap, meaning that a large space of air to fill.
Yep. Now, if that, one of those large body parts coolers was only a quarter full, you'd have to use more Boveda packs to keep those smaller amount of cigars humidified because you have all that dead space.
Right.
Now, 2 packs would still work in those coolers, these big packs.
Right.
But they would wear out more quickly because you have all that empty airspace. So they're going to actually just use up more moisture to fill and equalize the relative humidity in that container. So that's one of the real tricks of storing cigars in any type of case, call it a humidor or whatever it is. Try to keep it as full as possible. And if it's not, add a few extra packs, because as long as they're all the same humidity level, they're just going to work more efficiently and last you a little bit longer.
Perfect.
Wow, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Let's take a break and keep those questions coming, folks. Hit the share button, and we're going to go to our next set of sponsors, Nate, and hold there and relax, chill.
Awesome.
And Bruce Stark, it's your time. Go ahead, Frank.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines: the Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Boveda two-way humidification.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars, designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we're back, folks. Nate, I could tell you, if I saw that you've been reading the comments. Obviously, you're making big headway with everybody with as far as your information. We're getting a lot of great responses and people saying thank you for all the information you are giving us tonight.
Oh,
you know, we're not just a fun show, but we're also an educational show.
Yeah,
and
we actually do educate some folks, even ourselves.
Once
in a while, you know,
that's the best part, is having fun while we're learning something at the same time.
Exactly.
As we all know, in any sort of let's take cigars and spirits.
Yep.
I don't think any cigar maker or blender of scotch or bourbon would truly ever consider themselves a master, because as they know, they might get labeled that by somebody else, or they might have that as their title, but they're the first person to tell you, I'm no master. I'm still learning every day. I'm constantly tweaking my process. I'm learning something new. I'm learning how to work with new and different leaf or new and different, components of a spirit. It's a constant learning process. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Well, Nate, I think that goes through
For
everything
life.
in life.
Absolutely.
Once you stop learning, you're pretty much dead.
You're at that point. Yeah, you're
Right. And yeah, you see those retirees who just sort of, kick their feet up, or they join the local golf course and they don't really do much to really exercise their mind.
And then they start checking out mentally.
They really check out. Yeah.
You do. You
Yep.
gotta stay sharp, because again, we all love our cigars. So
Amen
for
to that.
us is keeping them in a pristine condition, so that when we do break them out, and we love sharing them with our friends, we know that we're giving them something that they can enjoy
At the peak of enjoyment.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because cigars, again, we do wind up collecting cigars. Most people wind up having many more cigars than they can smoke at any particular moment. So you want to make sure that those cigars are not going astray on you, because all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I just lost, a significant investment. And it's really cool to see, because obviously cigars do change over time, right?
Yes.
That's just the nature. It's a natural product. It's a living, breathing organism at this point. It doesn't stay static. So I think it's great that companies like Boveda have made it their mission to allow us the opportunity to do this, because
To help us.
to help us, to get us to that point where we know that we can be confident in what we're handing someone, because you never want to be that person that gives somebody a bad
smoke.
You don't want to be that guy. That's the guy you don't want to be. So
but you also got to be that guy that you got to take care of. You got to rotate your cigars. You got to watch what's going on in there too.
Keep an eye on it.
For yourself as well as the people you give the stick to.
Absolutely. And, Boveda has always known that we play a supporting role in this industry. Our role in our tagline is to maximize people's passions. And we create and have a product that is able to allow your cigars to be stored properly, so that when it comes time to enjoy them, they're at their perfect level, so that when you light that cigar, or you take out your humidimeter and you check the foot of that cigar. And I was going to mention this because the guys over at Cigar Medics, they're just real gems. And I love spending time with them. But I always, not only do I check the foot of the cigar, but I'll also check the head of that cigar, right through the cellophane.
Both sides.
And one of the real crazy things about checking both ends of that cigar is, I'm a smoker that really likes my cigars somewhere between 63 and 65%. That's optimal.
65 for us.
And
to us.
Yeah.
That's right. Other people like it higher, and some people like it even lower, which
and I've really found that long-term, I hesitate to use the term seasoned cigar smokers, but people that have been smoking and enjoying cigars for a long time really gravitate towards that slightly drier cigar. But I've had cigars where I test the foot with my humidimeter, and it's, let's say, 62%, which is totally fine for me. And then I test the head of that cigar, and it's 69%. Because what you don't realize is that moisture gets in that cigar, and it ends up dead ending at that cap.
It's trapped. It's trapped at the head, right? I mean, it makes sense.
It will breathe, but it's going to take a lot longer. So, one good tip for a cigar smoker, if you're trying to bring back and refresh a drier cigar, when a cigar gets really dry, you will have lost a lot of flavor in that cigar because those oils and sugars will have evaporated. So you're going to lose a little bit, but I still think it's fun to try to see if you can bring back to life and see what they taste like, those cigars. If you really want to get a cigar back into shape a little bit faster, cut the cap, like you would if you were going to light that cigar, take the cellophane off, cut a little bit off that cap, drop it back down in that humidor bag or in your Ziploc or in your humidor. It's going to normalize a little bit faster because now it has air moving in and out from both directions.
Right, which makes
it's going to jumpstart that.
Right.
Nate, I have a question. I don't know if you can answer this one.
Sure.
I am a pipe smoker as well. And even though I store most of my tobaccos in mason jars, if I'm just opening up a tin, which I'm probably going to smoke that tin for the next, let's just say for the next 3 or 4 weeks, what do you think would be the best pack to place in there to keep that tobacco moist? I know you have different humidifications.
We
What would you
do.
suggest?
Pipe tobacco is a bit of a tricky one because there are so many different humidity levels in pipe tobacco. You know, you have your aromatics, which are.
I'm not talking about
Those are very
No.
high in humidity.
Yeah,
right.
they're just sopping wet.
Yeah.
Exactly. And those are going to be, I think, often the recommendation I get from like the folks over at Laudisi, like Jeremy Reeves has become a friend at the trade shows.
Yes.
Generally speaking, most pipe tobacco, what I can find from most high quality pipe tobacco producers is either 62 or 65% with your pipe tobacco. And then if it's a drier pipe tobacco, you're going to either, maybe cut your little coins or you're going to shred that tobacco. Essentially, dry box it on a little tray or on a sheet of paper for 15 to 30 minutes before you're going to smoke it to the level that you enjoy.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
then let it kind of get to where you want it. That's a really good level that kind of gives you a midpoint to hold that tobacco.
So you're suggesting a pack of maybe 65 in that tin?
I think that would be a great starting point.
Okay.
And you'd want to use, let me grab these here. You'd want to use one of our small, like for tobacco, our smallest packs. We make some really small ones for the cannabis industry. But on the cigar side, I call this the tea bag size pack. This is our size 80.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, this should fit in most pipe tobacco tins. And you can just wedge it either up in the lid or just set it right on top of that tobacco. And then start with 65%. If you find that tobacco's a little dry, you could go up to 69%. If it's a little bit too moist, you could go down to 62 or even 58%. And see where you find that you like it. And then, that next tin, you might find another humidity that works better for that particular pipe tobacco.
Right.
Yeah, but like Virginians are basically on the drier side. And Burleys, right in the middle, I would say.
Yep.
So you mentioned a few numbers there. Chris Eden wanted to know, do they have a 65, which you just mentioned? But what is your category? Can you give us numbers from the low end to the high end, where you stand?
Absolutely.
So again, we mentioned most of us between 63 and 65. There are those who 69, 72, and so like. Can you give us a little range of what you got there?
Absolutely. So, Frank, you mentioned this earlier, all the different applications that Boveda can work for.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
On the low end, we make a 32% pack that can be used as a calibration pack for hygrometers. We make kind of two sets. We make a 75% for calibration or can be used for calibration, and then we make 32%. And that can give you a high and a low end on your hygrometer to really dial that hygrometer in to be as accurate as possible within that, anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8% margin of error.
Right.
Then we go up to 49%, which is going to be your packs used for wood instruments. That's going to be your guitars, your stringed instruments, your woodwinds, any wood instrument. And again, those packs will work even better if the case that they're in is as airtight as possible. So there are companies that actually make airtight cases specifically for wood instruments to make sure that they hold that humidity as well as possible. In fact, I may be mistaken on the manufacturer, but I think it's Taylor Guitars.
Taylor,
actually found out that they needed to season the wood of their guitar cases because that whole outer rim and base of that guitar case is solid wood.
It's wood, right?
Yeah.
And so they would season the case.
Place it inside if it's an acoustical guitar.
We actually make for our 49% packs. Wow. You can buy a kit together that comes with a fabric holder that literally will go over the strings inside the sound hole of the guitar.
Wow.
And those fabric pouches are breathable, but if for some reason one of those packs got punctured by, a string or something in the case, it wouldn't leak on your guitar. It would stay inside those fabric pouches. And on that picture that was just up there, you can actually see that in one of those lower pictures where it's actually held over the strings. Yeah, so we generally recommend, 3 packs in a guitar case. 2 packs that hang in that holder over the sound hole, and then 1 under the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's for wood instruments. And then the next jump up is for cannabis and CBD flower. And that's going to be 58 or 62%. The safe window for that type of flower is between 55 and 65%. So under 55%, you run the risk again of losing those precious terpenes. And that's the volatile compound, like the oils and sugars in our cigar leaf.
Right.
That really adds that medicinal entourage effect to that flower. And depending on how you like your flower, if you like it a little stickier or you're in a really dry climate, use 62%. If you like it a little on the drier side, 58%. And then when we get up into cigars, we go from 65% up to 75%. And then the top end is that 84% for seasoning just the wood walls of that humidor.
Right.
Wow.
Really, to kind of give a quick synopsis of what each one is used for, 65% long-term aging of cigars.
Yep.
For that more long-term smoker that likes, like us, a drier cigar, that's your 65%. 69% is really kind of, that's your sweet spot. So if you're wondering where to start, even in a wood humidor, start at 69%. You can always go up or down from there, depending on how your cigars are smoking. 72%, that's a great spot to start with your wood humidors, because it's going to add a little more moisture while you lose some through the lid and through maybe the glass top. Then we make 75%, and really 75%, as I've learned, and I got a great lesson from Jason Samuelson, the manager of Cigar Box out in Las Vegas, when we talked about these humidor starter kits. In really dry climates, a lot of shops will stock that 75% because they're trying to add extra humidity to combat all that dry air that's outside.
It makes sense, especially if you're in the desert.
So it ends up being a tricky thing. Our 75% packs are really solely meant for very low-end wood humidors that leak a lot of air. Glass top, that hygrometer that's wedged right in the front. That 75% pack compensates for all of that humidity that's pushing out through all of those gaps to keep your cigars about anywhere from 67 to 69%.
Right.
If you store your cigars in a good container with 75% humidity, and you're in a spot where the outside humidity like Phoenix or Las Vegas is, let's say, 10 to 15% humidity, an interesting thing happens. You actually end up creating the situation you're trying to avoid, which is a cracked wrapper and a blown up cigar.
Oh, it'll happen because of that big contrast.
Yes. And so what happens is wrappers are delicate pretty much across the board. Some are more stout than others, your broadleafs, your Maduros, what have you. But when that cigar is between 73 and 75%, you're now almost, based on how we like to smoke it, almost 10 points higher than where we're at. And when you take that cigar out of that extra humidified environment and you step outside and you put a light to the end of this cigar, as that cherry warms up, all of that filler and binder, which is holding most of that moisture is going to want to escape out of that cigar, and that filler and binder is going to blow it out.
That's where
it's going to blow up and crack your wrapper.
So
what you'll find is if you're going to a place like Vegas, drop your cigars down with 65% packs for a couple weeks before you go. And I bet you'll probably have way fewer instances of that wrapper cracking on you, because when you take them out of your container, now you're that much closer to the ambient humidity. Those cigars are going to have much lower chance of cracking. I live up here in Minnesota, where traditionally in the winter, this year has been an anomaly.
No, it's usually dry.
Really dry and really cold. And I generally smoke a cigar every day when I walk my dogs. And I will smoke anything from a Connecticut to a broadleaf. And I take it out of my humidor with 65% packs. And I have yet to have a cigar blow up on me.
Oh, that's good.
While you're walking outside.
That's good.
Wow.
And that's a big temperature change.
Yeah, that's drastic.
That's
absolutely.
drastic.
So like Frank has a room here with 300 keys of cannabis. What's the formula that he has to have?
Bob, it's a family show. Come on.
We can't give out that information, Bob.
After all, this is Florida.
It's legal in Minnesota too, if you so wanted. This size pack, one of these does 5 pounds of flour.
Oh, there you go. Wow, you got to buy a lot, Frank.
You got a big room, buddy.
I know.
Oh God, I'm glad he's in the witness protection program too. Thanks, Frank.
Well, I was.
Move next
I
week.
was. I'll be out of Florida next week.
Let's go to Phoenix. I think Michelob was telling that's where he's from. He's safe.
We were wondering if Michelob had a sister and they were named Heineken or Anheuser-Busch or something.
That's awesome.
Michelob now.
That's true.
So there was a question a lot earlier. Future plans for Boveda, and maybe create your own humidor of some kind, or put something else like that out.
Well, they did that little cooperation with New Air, which is a nice little collaboration.
I would say it's highly likely at some point in the next year or two that you'll see some type of Boveda humidor coming back on the market. We had those acrylic humidors for a number of years.
Right.
And really the easy answer to why we don't sell those anymore, one, they worked so well, they didn't create a lot of repeat business. So it wasn't, it's not a big revenue stream. They work. If you have one of those old Boveda acrylics, they are one of the best units to source cigars. And they're great because you can see all of your cigars through them. But because that acrylic is so delicate and, somebody buys it, if that lid opens a little too tight, they're going to ask for another one because they can't get in and out of that. They're going to want a replacement. There were a lot of supply chain issues and headaches that we dealt with those units that it just made sense for us at the moment to go, hey, we're going to concentrate on just doing what we do best, which is the humidification packs. And we're going to let somebody else take that over. And so those acrylic humidors are still available from a retailer actually out of Chicago. Ronnie, I don't know if you've ever met Kevin from Northwoods Humidors or had occasion to ever run across his site.
No, I haven't.
He strictly sells humidors, as evidenced by the name Northwoods Humidors. They actually took over the importing of those acrylic humidors, and so now on the lid it'll say Northwoods Humidors with their circular logo, and then the cedar tray on the inside will still say powered by Boveda. And each one of those humidors that you buy still comes with 3 Boveda packs. That gives you anywhere, I would say, 9 to 12 months of life on those initial packs in that humidor. So they're still available, but
nice.
I would say. Little birdie told me you're going to probably see something coming down the pike from Boveda in the next year and a half or so on the humidor front. A lot of the new innovation that Boveda is doing, understandably, is in the cannabis industry.
Right, it's a huge growing industry. Big time.
It's still so new in the United States, considering legalization, and there's so much cannabis available. Like, it's a real tricky industry. There's so much cannabis that's been produced over the last few years, but there still aren't enough consumers as these states legalize that it's a real tricky spot. But that's where a lot of the innovation is coming, because there are so many different types and styles of containers and ways to use Boveda with that product. That's where a lot of our innovation is, at least at this point, because we've really dialed it in with cigars over the last, 25 years.
And I saw something too that was interesting for spices and brown sugar as well.
Yes,
brown sugar has always been an issue with it clumping and getting to a point where it's hard to kind of get out of a jar or a container. So I saw that a Boveda pack was in with brown sugar. Yeah. So I thought that was really very interesting, because that made a lot of sense. To add more life to a product like brown sugar.
And I'd have to look here for a second on our internal page to know exactly where spices fall, because some of those are a little different if they're ground versus whole.
Right.
But when it comes to brown sugar, any type of gummy or candy, and this applies to, cannabis or CBD gummies, dots, Mike and Ike's, hot tamales. Whenever I'm a huge hot tamale fan.
Okay.
Anytime I buy one of those big, like 5-pound bags or those 2.5-pound bags that you can reseal, I keep them resealed and I drop a Boveda pack in there. I can't tell you how much better that candy is in literally just 24 hours with the Boveda pack in there. It is night and day different. Like, they are perfect.
Wow.
And if you're going to store a Boveda pack with your brown sugar, which is probably the most common food application, 69%.
There you go.
Now, Nate, I still have some of the blue acid from Woodstock. I keep it in a piece of aluminum foil.
That's a 67 pack, Bob, or 69.
I've heard it's making a comeback.
Yes, it is.
That's great.
And I'll be honest, if there are any people on this podcast that are interested, there are some really fantastic studies out there around, we'll call it psychedelics, and the medicinal use of those products. It's pretty spectacular. And it's rather shocking to me, considering how demonized cigars are, and then cannabis is even worse. Right. And then psychedelics are even worse. How beneficial some of these products are, and how they were used, in medical or psychology fields. It's insane to me. And that would be a deep rabbit hole, but it's insane to me how some of these have been so demonized for so many years, considering how helpful they are to people and how big the potential is for those. But that's for another conversation.
Well, we have to have you back at the end of the year, but we do have Pat, who is a unbelievable pipe smoker, and believe me, he's got a big pipe.
What humidity pack would an English, Balkan, or Oriental be recommended?
So you guys will be better.
We kind of talked about this before.
We did, yeah. Are they going to be a little more on the slightly moist variety, or are they a little bit drier?
Well, especially English, which Latakia basically is dry as can be. So yeah.
I would, in all honesty, I was talking with Joe Ives, who works for Laudisi, and he said they often shoot for a moisture content in their tobacco between 12 and 14%. Now, what that translates to in relative humidity is anywhere from 60 to 65%. And then what they typically do is then you take that tobacco out, you shred it, you flake it, and you let it dry at room temperature for, however, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, however dry you like to get it. And that tends to hold that tobacco really well. Yep. So I would say for that English, Oriental, Balkan tobacco, I would say 65 or 62% is going to be a really nice starting point for you. If you find that it's a little too humidified, you could always go down to 49%. The only trick with that 49% is the packs we have are going to be often too large. So you're going to have to put them in a bigger container than those mason jars or those tins. But 65, even maybe 62% would be a great starting point. And then just, if it's a little moist, just let that air dry until you're ready to pack that into the bowl of your pipe. And that tobacco should be really, really where you want it.
Chris, I think 65 is the magic number.
Yeah. And Chris,
I think so too.
He had a good recommendation. He says, getting a couple of 4-ounce mason jars and try both, so you can experience the smoke at different, relative humidity. And that's really a good way of going, because then
it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, because then it gives you a gauge as to where you are.
But again, if you're smoking in English, Latakia is dry as can be. I mean, it's like cotton when you take it out in its pure form. So yeah, you gotta play around a little bit. It depends on what it's mixed with and what are the blends.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same with cannabis flower. Some people like it really sticky. Some like it actually drier. And one of the interesting things we found in our actual real world testing of cannabis flower is very seasoned cannabis consumers like to store their cannabis in that 58 to 62 window, but then they actually like to consume it and smoke it closer to 50% humidity, because that actually gives them the most enjoyable smoke. But if they were to store it at 50%, that's way too dry to actually store it.
Yes, it's already lost.
Yep. And I think pipe tobacco is going to have a lot of those same similarities. You're going to want to store it in that 62 to 65 window, and then let it dry down to your desired humidity, because 50% humidity is pretty dry.
Right.
It seems really high compared to, 15% humidity, but that's bone dry. I mean, that's like you can feel your hands starting to get cracked.
Right. That's dust.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hey, Nate, we've been talking a lot also about the pipe and the tobacco and stuff. I don't know if you're aware, we're having the Chicago International Pipe Show in Rosemont. And do you have any interest in coming down and maybe showing off for Boveda and on the table or something like that?
Everybody needs it,
man. I would love to. The unfortunate part of the dates for that pipe show are the same dates as a Cigar Fest down in Houston, Texas, that I will be representing Boveda at by myself that same weekend. So I won't be able to make it this year, but keep me abreast of next year's dates. And if I can make it happen, I'll drive down on my own dime and come hang with you guys. And
that would be great to see you too.
Wow.
Are you like the only the whole person? Are you taking the whole country? Isn't there anyone else?
We split it with two of us, basically, or three of us. We have
what was the guy from St. Louis or Kansas City that was at the BCA with us?
That's Mike Stouse. That's my coworker, Mike Stouse. And Mike Stouse's role here at Boveda is he works exclusively with cigar manufacturers. So he is responsible, and you'll see him bopping around like a crazy person at the trade shows, talking to cigar manufacturers about the benefits of Boveda in their cigar boxes. And then the way it kind of splits out with the rest of us, my good man, Jay Fifield. If you've ever met Jay at a cigar show, he's got about shoulder length, Spicoli-like hair from
I think he puts a 69 humidor pack in his back.
Yeah, he totally does.
I love it.
Yeah, Jay works with all the big key accounts that Boveda works with, like your Famous Smoke, your Cigars International, the JR Cigar, all those big accounts.
Right.
And then myself and one of my best friends, JP, we split East and West U.S. And the way those work is the eastern half of the U.S., his territory goes Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, and everything west of that. And then and east of that, I have everything west of that. So we each cover about, it's probably like 1,300 accounts each.
Wow.
Fortunately, over the last few years, I've been able to get a little more travel in the budget for us. And I make it I'll probably do 10 trips this year. So I do twice out in Vegas for the two tobacco trade shows. Right. And then I go to Dallas and Houston. So there's a Cigar Fest in Houston. I go to San Antonio and Austin because there's a big charity event that Think Cigars puts on in San Antonio. I try to make it to Phoenix and Scottsdale for several days, at least once a year. I'm in Chicago at least twice a year. Love Chicago. Make it through, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Chicago.
Right.
I'm going to try to head up to the Detroit area and even maybe go over into Toronto and cover that part of the country, which I've never visited before. Nice. I have two girls that have been in college in Southern California, so I get to go out there for visits to them and see shops. I'm technically an inside sales rep, so I'm not technically a traveling sales rep like a cigar rep would be. But I just see immense value in spending a couple hours in my customer shops, having a cigar.
Boots on the ground.
I'm not going into those shops, honestly, when I'm in market to visit a shop. I'm not there to sell them Boveda at that point because I know when they ordered it last and I know on what sort of cycle they get our product. I'm there to talk about everything other than cigars and Boveda with them. I want to learn about their families, what they like to do when they're not at work, like really develop good friendships with these folks. Right. Like Ronnie at Arlington Pipe and Cigar. Ryan and Chris are just salt of the earth, just amazing human beings.
They are.
And now they're friends. They're not customers, they're friends. Yeah. We text each other completely non-work related. And I do that with a lot of accounts. I mean, that's the real bonus in being able to spend time in accounts is to have that kind of interaction and to develop a friendship with those individuals.
Yeah. One last question before we go to our big segment. Chris wants to know, where in Dallas are you going to be at? I gather he wants to meet you.
Oh, I would love that. So when I'm down in Dallas, I always try to hit some accounts that I haven't been to, but in Dallas, I'll be at kind of the big ones, Renegade Cigar, Blue Smoke. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
The Monte Cristo one there too?
That Monte Cristo is one of those lounges, but all the Casa de Monte Cristo stuff, that's my coworker Jay's stuff, because they're you know, all over the country. I'll be out at Lee Moore has a shop called I'm just blanking on the name now.
Do you ever go to Metro in Milwaukee?
I'm at Metro at least twice a year. Yep, I'm at Metro twice a year. Yep. It's killing me. I'm blanking on the cigar shop that's on the east side of Dallas, out in. At any rate, I'll think of it. But I tend to make it. I'll probably make it over the course of 3 days to probably 12, 14 different shops when I'm out in Dallas.
Nice.
When you coming to Florida?
He doesn't cover
That's
that.
not him.
I don't cover Florida.
He doesn't go
That's
there.
right. I know.
He's got to send his other guy.
He can come anytime he wants.
He can come visit us anytime. That's true. There's always a room at the inn here.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
There's always a room at the inn. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So
and it's a nice inn.
Before we go to our next set of sponsors and our next segment, folks, we just want to let everybody know that this is that time where we set people up for our
we set them up.
We set them up. Yeah, we set them up.
We set them up to fail.
Do we set them up to fail? No, this is a time where we play our game, which started as Stump the Chooch. Now, we have a bunch of new folks on, so I'd like to give them an introduction. I don't even know what the Chooch is.
Oh.
So it's a way for it's a little trivia section, but the Chooch was kind of like our mascot for years.
Yeah.
You know, and this is who the Chooch is. The Chooch is actually the donkey, which is the hardest working animal on the planet. And sometimes I like, in Italian, that means jackass. And I try to
Joey G.
I ask questions and I ask questions to even yourself, Nate. Not that I want to make you look like a jackass, but usually Ronnie and Bob and usually Kyle or other guests, they participate. So when we come back, we will get to that segment where we give away some great prizes to people who have endured sitting here with us. And tonight, I think
they got a nice crowd tonight,
because you know what? They learned a hell of a lot tonight. You know, I did.
Very educational.
I know I did. You know, so when we come back right after these words, we're going to play the new segment, which I'll show you what that looks like. The Chooch has been kicked out. He's on a farm now, and the SakaSquatch is the new reigning champion for the segment. So when we come back, but the Chooch
we're still paying for the Chooch in his retirement home.
Yeah, we do.
You know?
We have to feed him. We have to send them. We have to send them feed. He likes cigars.
He does
Thank
like
God.
cigars. Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah. But right after these words, we're going to play that game, and we've got some great gifts for people. So make sure you hang out with us here, because you never know what you're going to see.
They got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, exactly. And they got great prizes. Ronnie, you want to show them what they're going to win?
I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think we should keep them a little bit, you know.
Tease it out.
We got
I think let's tease
them. Yeah, when we come back, you're going to have to watch.
Commercials.
Exactly. Then you come back
do that.
Win. There's some great prizes.
Bruce has to go to the bathroom again, so let him go. All right.
Hello, Bruce.
Great cigars take time. The Fortaleza Libre story began in 2013 with the idea of starting a brand of cigars that would exemplify the strength and freedom that define America. Our premium cigar voyage for quality and taste led us to the Dominican Republic and the tobacco fields of Santiago and Tamboril. Tabacalera El Joyito would become a trusted partner, and in 2019, our smoking strong and living free journey was realized with the arrival to our shores of the Fuerte Libre Bodacious. Fast forward 5 years, 2024, Fuerte El Libre rebrands to Fortaleza El Libre. Same meaning, strong and free. Our portfolio has grown to 6 core lines to satisfy the palates of cigar smokers worldwide. For more information, visit our website at fylcigars.com. Smoke strong, live free. Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are fourth-generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature Firehouse cigar line. All engines respond. Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
and we are back, folks. We are back.
All right.
Wow. We've been just talking amongst ourselves here and how much we've learned tonight, Nate. It's you've been a wealth of information, and you've really helped us open up our eyes to some of the things that we were doing, maybe not so correctly. Accurately.
I think that's
it would be the word.
Yeah.
And it's nice to know that, we've been given some proper guidance, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to help, man. We can
always learn something.
Fine-tuning and learning, absolutely.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So here's some of the questions.
Wait a minute. Wait, do you want to?
We need to know what
Frank, you're so anxious to go. And, I was giving a tease, and I'm bringing it back. Hold on.
Why don't we see a little tease from Nate? Nate has something that he's kicking in. The folks over.
I'd like to up the game here a little bit. To whomever wins this trivia round, I am going to kick in not only a year's supply of Boveda.
A year? What? A year?
But some other goodies as well. So you guys will be gracious enough to send me the address of whoever wins, and I'm going to kick out a really nice care package along with some other goodies, and we'll get you set up for a year.
Wow. Nate, you have my address, right?
Nate, if you see me, my new tagline is I want Boveda.
I'll give you that AKA.
We'll just become a sponsor for the year. That's all we want.
Wow.
Holy cow. That is tremendous. And everybody's flipping out on this one.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be hot and heavy. Look at that. A year. Oh, shit. I'm done. Wow. Oh, my God. Wow. That's absolutely amazing. Wow.
All they need to let me know is what they have for their storage at home, and that way I can send them what they'll need for a full year.
All right, so folks, make sure you get that. PM me, and we'll get that over to Nate. But what else are we going to add to? I mean, I don't know. I think that should be it. That's it. Because
You don't think that's enough?
No.
A year's
no,
supply.
are we going to give more to our listeners?
Yes.
Who wants
That's what we
more?
do.
Let's see it. Show the hands. Who wants
All
more?
right.
People know.
A 65-inch TV.
Gild the lily, if you will.
All right. So anyway, folks, let's do this. From our very own Mr. Saka himself, going to have a choice of colors of these incredible hats that he just came out with.
Beautiful.
You're going to have
Beautiful,
the I guess dark brown and the gold, the
Khaki,
yellow,
the
whatever you
more
want to call
tobacco
it.
color.
Yeah, the khaki and the more tobacco
Yeah,
color.
I
right?
like
Look at that.
Beautiful
All right.
hats. They
So
are
you're going to
sharp.
get one or the other. So you tell me again also which one you want.
We call that khaki tobacco.
Khaki. I
tobacco.
like that. I like that. And wow, look at this coffee mug. Ooh, look
Is
at
that
that.
the Umbagog?
That's nice.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Oh,
Look at that.
very nice.
Nice.
That'll hold
All right.
a lot of bourbon.
That'll hold a lot of
A
bourbon.
lot of bourbon, a lot of rye, whiskey.
Wow.
So I give this to Joey G. Forget about it.
Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful.
Is that a shot glass for Mr. Saka? That's
Yeah.
a shot glass.
I think it is. I think it is. But not only that,
Not only that,
because
More?
Steve is
Yes,
such an
more.
awesome guy.
Ooh.
I mean, he really is. We're going to give a sobremesa cigar.
we're gonna get a nice,
There
beautiful
you go. A
sobremesa.
nice
That's
one.
Yeah.
And if you're really good to us tonight, guys,
That means sending
what
us
is
an
this?
envelope.
Ooh, a little
Ooh.
miso. Wow, very nice.
And that's going
Very
to go
nice.
down over here. And maybe because
There's
we
one
really
more?
like
One
you
more.
guys.
Oh, mi
Oh,
querido.
the mi querido.
Oh,
Oh,
What the hell is this? Christmas?
This is Christmas.
well, no, this is Saka.
Oh.
True. Saka's
Well, hey,
fine.
we have Santa, so ho ho ho.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. So 3 cigars, a coffee mug, and a hat.
Wow.
Okay,
And a
guys?
year's supply
Now-
of keeping your cigars
Now,
fresh.
remember, folks, first and foremost, when you do receive this within the next 2 or 3 years, when Ronnie sends this out,
I hate the post office. I'm sorry.
It goes by post office,
it goes
so-
via post office. So sometimes it takes a little longer than it should.
And you know
Where
what
good
the-
souls go to die.
The ash.
Well, when you
I mean,
do
just
this,
the dust.
no,
They'll be so dry.
no, we put a Boveda pack in there because we're
there
nice.
you go. That keeps
So
it
that's
fresh.
what we do.
So,
So,
I need to buy a Boveda's, Nate, so you can send it.
so here's the key, folks. What I want you to do is the winner. You have to go out when you do get the products. I want you to make sure you post it on your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever social media you want to tag us. You want to tag Mr. Steve Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco. You want to tag Boveda. You want to thank them for the opportunity to have all of this. So make sure you do that. I
Yes,
mean,
that would be
I think
nice.
that's really important because sometimes we get so excited.
And a
we forget
picture of
to
them
say that.
smoking a cigar.
A picture of them.
And
is
having
like
a cup full of bourbon. yeah.
you
So
know, and
last week, winners, listen, I was in Florida. I was taking a break from you guys. So I'll get to the post
Last
office
week's
this
winner-
week.
winners-
Frank and I were
Everybody, you know.
thankful you come this way.
I was on the West Coast. What can I
so
tell you?
first of all, you know, these are like what I like to call warm-up questions.
Oh, yeah.
And I throw it out to everyone here, Bob, Chris, who's sitting way over there. He's off camera. Ronnie. These are questions that I'm going to ask you guys and see what you think. So, all right. First question. On this date in history in 1853, Bob. 1853. That was about the time when Bob was a teenager. I think he was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And
He'd had
Actually,
his
it was
first,
15 and a half.
it was 15 and a half. Right, 15 and a half.
He had
this-
the mustache pubes at that point, right?
He
was
did.
just getting the,
He showed General Grant how to grow the beard.
There you go. There you go.
So this piano company actually was
Steinway.
There you go. Steinway
There it
and
is.
Sons in
There
New
you
York
go.
City.
Yep.
In New York City, 18.
Long Island? No. Actually, the Steinway Museum is right in Astoria.
I don't
Steinway
talk about the
Mansion.
museum.
Mansion.
Did I say the museum? This is what I don't see, Nate. What I got to deal with? I didn't say the museum. I didn't say any of that. I just asked about.
You said New York City.
Well, they started in New York City,
of course.
Again,
the Steinway Mansion was only about 15 minutes from our house,
where we grew up.
Oh, there. I used to go to the mansion all the time.
See that?
Yeah,
they didn't. Even,
we call that circus monkeys.
That's right.
Wow.
Ronnie and Bob.
I'm a chimp. He can be the gorilla.
Boy, could they play.
Oh, Bob, in 1963, Bob, I happen to like that year only because I was born in it.
Okay.
Too bad.
1963.
Uh-huh.
The company Whammo.
Oh, they made the chamois glove.
Frisbee, yes. They started with Frisbee.
Chamois.
No.
Wow.
The company's co-founder's name was Arthur Spud Mellon, and he patented this item in 1963 that was sold. And Bob, I remember you using this in the streets of Jackson Heights, Queens. What was this?
Frisbee.
Frisbee. Yeah.
No, it was not the Frisbee.
Who was it again?
Lawn darts?
Nope, it wasn't lawn darts.
Say the company name again.
Whammo.
Okay, the hula hoop.
The hula hoop.
Yeah.
There it is.
Ah, there you go.
The hula hoop.
Yeah, I used to be able to do two of them at once with my leg and everything around my neck.
That always makes me think of that movie, The Hudsucker Proxy, where he comes up to the guy with that circle on the nose. He goes, "This." He's like, "What is it?" "I don't know, but it's this."
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For kids.
Wow. Here's another question. I love asking questions because I don't have to look like a fool answering them. So this is why I love this segment. So what is the only, and Bob, you can't answer this because you gave me this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So what is the only known fish that can blink with both eyes? The only known fish that can blink with both eyes. I love this question, Bob.
That was a good one, right?
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Oh, man. That is a good one.
Yeah. Blinks with both eyes. I'll give you a hint.
Where are the anglers here?
I'll give you a hint. It's a fish you'd want to poke their eyes out if they were approaching you.
Shark.
There you go. Yeah.
A shark. A shark can blink with both eyes.
Amazing, right?
I know. I thought that was
very interesting.
Yeah,
you Florida guys down there, you have a little more touch than me up here.
Well, we're always weary about that when we go in the water.
Yep, for sure.
Yep. So
Teresa said a blowfish. When you're having the worm, you.
I'm going to give you one more question for you guys, and I don't think maybe Nate might come up with the answer on this, but I don't know. So, what is the most humid country in the world?
Most humid country in the world.
Aruba.
You've been rubbing the wrong thing there, Ruba Ron. They call it
India by Eduardo. India.
No,
I might guess Brazil.
That's a pretty good guess. That's not bad. It's not bad. You got to think about the equator, right? So the equator plays a
Costa Rica,
you got to think about a lot of water surrounding this country, and it's actually the Maldives.
Oh yes, somebody actually said that. Chris Cutler had that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, who got it? Chris got it. Look at that.
The Maldives.
Okay.
Don't get too excited, Chris, because that wasn't a question for you.
By the way, don't get too excited. But
I wouldn't have guessed that an island would have that much humidity. with all of the the breeze that goes
and the
wind.
right, in the wind. But
you are surrounded by water.
You are surrounded by water, and it's very hot.
Aruba's surrounded by water too. That was not a stupid question.
Number 2 on the list. Can you guess number 2?
Number 2.
Singapore.
Singapore, really?
Oh, really?
Singapore.
Note to self, don't go to Singapore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Note to self.
No, I'm not going there. Nope,
You got to
nope.
bring a Boveda pack just for your shorts.
Yeah.
You got to stick it in your shorts.
You got to tape it all
Put
over.
it in your shorts.
Boveda pack you can stick in your underwear.
Hey,
32,
that's
yes.
idea.
That's for
32% right here, and tuck it right down. Yes.
Yeah, underwear for swamp ass. Wow.
Yeah.
Swamp ass.
Otherwise, you'll be making some cornstarch fritters in your shorts.
From under cheese. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
Wow.
Wow. I know I'd make
hilarious.
you laugh tonight, guys.
So is this for the audience?
This is
the
for
next
the
one?
audience.
This is for the audience, so we got to
You
get
know-
that ready, man.
Sometimes it's good. You know, sometimes I like to
Screw them.
I like to screw the audience because they're getting a lot here. They got to do a little work. You know,
Yeah,
in life.
this is a big prize. A year's
Yeah.
worth of Boveda. A hat of your
Exactly.
selection.
No, not Boveda, Ron. Ron, get the
Boveda.
pronunciation.
Boveda,
Boveda, please.
I'm sorry.
You know, we're not going to fuck
Boveda.
around with your pronunciation tonight. I'm not going to.
Ronnie's on
We're going for the true.
Boveda. All right, 1 year Boveda. And then
There you go.
a selection of a hat. You got a coffee mug and
So,
3
what-
cigars.
This is going to be a question that I'm going to put up so that people can see it.
Mm.
And
Oh,
Oh, we're
there-
going to go back to that?
Yeah, but this is going to be good.
All right, okay.
This is going to be good.
okay. So they
So
really
this-
can't listen to Alexa. They have to read it to Alexa themselves to get the answer.
Yeah.
Let's just say
Hi, Siri.
they're going to have to do a little research here. Nothing wrong with that. I
No,
like
no,
that.
that's
all
good.
right.
That's
All
all
right.
right.
like
This is
that.
good.
All right,
Got a
folks.
lot of people ready to go. Hello,
Okay.
Bill Anthony. Let's
Here we
make it
go.
happen.
Here you go. So this is for Stump SakaSquatch. Here you go, folks. So Steve's favorite beer while visiting this brewery in Esteli. This picture came from a January 29th post that Steve made, but he visited to see or to say, or however you like to pronounce it, brewery. What was his favorite beer there?
Oh, wow.
I have one guy. If he's in Hawaii, he should know this answer. Come on, Chris.
No, it's not Yingling.
Bud Light.
Highlight.
Campo.
No, no. Colin McClure is on shit, boy. Let me tell you, he wants to win. To say is the name of the beer company.
Cerveza Artesanal del
No.
Esteli Bruja. Tona.
It's a
Peroni. There you
says
go.
Peroni.
A Peroni. Yeah, okay, Joe. Talk to Carol about that, will you?
Clay Higgins says
Ward?
no clue.
No clue. Okay.
No clue is
That's
definitely
not the
an
correct
answer.
answer. Tona.
Tona? No, no.
La
Zona?
Zona.
No, no.
Old style.
Old style. As opposed to
He goes all the way to Esteli, that old
Yeah,
style.
the answer
Good one,
is-
Mike.
Wow.
Estella.
No, not Estella.
Melted
Plenar-
snowman.
Melted
Pilsner.
snowman. I love these things. To say is the name. Of,
Mistoros. Corona.
wait a minute. Hold on. Who said?
Mistoras.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Who said Chela de la Sierra? Hold on a second. Could
Oh.
that be the answer? Wait a minute.
Oh,
Is-
no. Eduardo from Philadelphia.
All right. Let me take his thing off of here to reveal. Let me reveal
Hold all answers. Hold all answers.
because the winner is. Look at that. Chela de la Sierra. There you go.
Where is it?
Eduardo. My man
Eduardo is the winner.
Eduardo. Wow. Eduardo.
Wow. Is
That was
the
a
star
good
of-
one, man.
it's-
Holy
it's
cow.
like
Well,
the star of
Chela
the
de la
night. Like
Sierra.
Chela de la-
Chela
de-
is
de
the
night.
star of the night.
Yeah,
The Chela de
yeah.
la Sierra. Yeah, de la Sierra.
Wow.
Wow, Eduardo, that was awesome, man. Nice one.
job.
Very
nice
good.
job.
Whoa.
Very good.
How did Hawaii factor into that?
I don't know
I
how
don't know.
Hawaii got in there.
No, he's saying
was
somebody
doing,
visiting from Hawaii. But you know what, folks? That's what we do here. We try to give people a perspective on Steve, some of the things that he posts. You have to a clue here. I will be asking questions that are a little absurd.
Off the word.
Absurd. Out in the distance, because you have to do a little study. That's the way it is. You can't just get free shit for nothing. Steve would pounce on me for that.
He probably would.
He would.
Yeah.
So
look what he did to the chooch.
I know he did to the chooch. I don't want him doing that to me. I don't want him stepping on me.
No.
You can take the hit for us, Frank. Don't worry about it. Nate, I hope you enjoyed yourself. We can't thank you enough, man. I'll get you Eduardo's information, but wow. Audience, you guys were amazing tonight. Thank you so much. Great questions. And we do hope you learned a lot. I know the three of us did.
Yeah, we did.
Now that Kyle jumped on all of a sudden. Hello, Kyle. Goodbye, Kyle. So, good night, Kyle. We'll see you next week, Kyle. But yes.
Have fun storming the castle.
That's right.
There you go. Nate, I hope to see you soon. Let me know when you're coming down in the area, because I'll definitely make my way and see you for sure.
I can't wait,
yes,
thank you so
definitely.
much again what a wonderful night that we've had, and thank you so very much for supplying supplies for our audience. I mean,
and thank you for the
knowledge, the education.
You're more than welcome.
For sure.
Absolutely,
you're more than welcome.
All right.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
As usual, we'll have you again next year, because at 2025, I think we might be talking about something.
We might be.
Wait, who knows? We might be talking.
We're always talking shit, but you know, that's another.
Hey, folks, if you're listening, Joey G, our man, our whiskey whisperer from the Whiskey Network, next week's show, be very alert.
Oh, there's going to be a video about him arresting that grandma.
There is going to be videos out, but there's going to be a great pairing show. We've got Lampert Cigars, and then we've got Proof and Wood. Never heard of their product, so it's going to be interesting for me, because again,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a pairing with
bourbon?
two things. It's a blended bourbon scotch, bourbon whiskey, blended whiskey, and
Joey's never had wood,
and
so
Joey hasn't had wood, so barrel with an E.
Maybe if he has a Boveda pack 69, maybe. But also, hey, one thing about Joey G. Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, he hit the big 4-0. He's a baby in our lifetime.
a mere child.
Yes,
4-0
yes,
for Joey and 5-0 for me. Man.
Yeah, nice.
Wow. And happy birthday, big guy, to you.
Thank you.
And really, it's great. And don't forget, the Chicago International Pipe Show is coming up in April. Book your rooms now, guys, because they're selling out really fast. And it's going to be a fabulous show. We got Ish is coming in from BAM Cigars, and you can actually roll your cigars. So sign up for the cigar rolling class with Ish. And we got over 20 cigar brands will also be there. So not only pipe, but there will be cigars and lots of tobacco. A lot of fun. So take a look at the website.
Book that room now, otherwise you'll be in Indiana.
Yeah.
You'd be staying in Gary for crying out loud.
Oh, God. Well, the Jackson's house just went up for sale. I think it's an Airbnb right now.
Oh, yeah. You can totally stay there.
Anyway, everyone, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great week.
Good night, you guys.
Safe travels, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through.